Yes, it will be recalled that in August of 2019, a UN Special Rapporteur on Nigeria had visited to investigate the cause of the extrajudicial killings, the blood that was flowing all over Nigeria. And that was coming just about 3 weeks from after the 7 months that Washington spent to interrogate what we were saying was going on in our sub-region. The LNC team, LNC Nina's team that engaged to raise an alarm to the global community that the terror networks they were trying to defeat in the Middle East had relocated to the West African sub-region, received by the local franchise called Boko Haram, and being reinforced by the government of Nigeria as led by Muhammad Buhari. We had the privilege of standing in Capitol Hill to address the relevant decision makers, both in the House and in the Senate leg of, it was the International Religious Freedom Ministerial Roundtables of 2019. But we had come in January of that 2019 to raise an alarm about this Fulani agenda that had been mixed up with, it was like the joint venture between the Fulani that want to take the whole of Nigeria to create a homeland for Fulani of the Sahel and beyond, with the ISIS that was being dislocated in the Middle East, failing with Syria and Iraq. They wanted to create a caliphate, but they were overwhelmed, and they migrated to set up a shop and find a new operational base. Their target is actually the whole of West Africa. As you see in the map with the marks, the West African map, you see the Sharia belt in Nigeria, you see the wider territory targeted by that. So we went to share this. It became a national security emergency for the UN. COVID-19 had not come, because that was January 29. COVID-19 came towards the tail end of 2019. But the information we shared and the propositions we made about what needed to be done by the global community to avoid the reinforcement, to prevent a situation where that terror network that had become ISWAP, ISIS plus Boko Haram becoming ISWAP, under the superintendence of the government of Nigeria, personally presided over by the president of Nigeria, who have been the champion of the local franchises, as represented by Miyetti Allah. Miyetti Allah claiming proudly responsibility for the actions of Fulani herdsmen. Muhammad Buhari, life grand patron, Miyetti Allah. Muhammad Buhari takes money, 100 billion from our treasury of Nigeria, to hand over to Miyetti Allah in public glare. It was on national TV that they wanted 160 billion, and he approved the 100 billion for them to inject into their business. For a group that was proudly representing Fulani herdsmen, already adjudged as the 4th most deadly terror group on earth. And so this joint venture between the terror networks and the Fulani agenda, the Fulani global interest, in which that terror network will have Nigeria as its hub and West Africa as that caliphate, including Nigeria, of course, as their new operational base to face the whole world. And the Fulani from all over the sub-region of all over Africa would be brought into Nigeria to create a homeland for them. That was the joint venture. That is the joint venture. And it was against the backdrop of that alarm being raised in Washington that those who were leading the fight against the terror networks in the Middle East now considered what was going on in the West African sub-region as a national security emergency. And we went from the legislative branch on Capitol Hill, the State Department people came in to, and then all kinds of other branches of government, including the military. And then the policy actions that we saw in which Nigeria was put on the special watch list and later made country of particular concern were all flowing from. So back to the UN Special Rapporteur, we're informing our people now so that they can understand the game that is being played by this Fulani woman called Amina Mohammed hanging around at the UN. They sent her there thinking that they will be able to deceive anybody. The recent visit of the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres to Nigeria, in which he went to Maiduguri to talk about how Nigeria was doing well in bringing back terrorists into society and all of that. It is the game of Amina Mohammed and her Abuja principals, supervised by the British who coordinate for them, to go and create the impression that Nigeria was doing great in bringing Boko Haram to be reinfused into society and into the military. We saw what happened with the Taliban in Afghanistan, where they were repenting and being rehabilitated and being reinfused into the Afghan army. We saw how it ended, that the Taliban overwhelmed and are now in control of Afghanistan. We are on the highway to Afghanistan, and Amina Mohammed procured her principal, the Secretary General, to come to, erect a false narrative to counter the narrative, to counter the reality that has been exposed, in which our Commander-in-Chief is organizing the terror that we are battling with in terms of bringing Fulani from everywhere to come to overrun the indigenous nationalities and take their lands from them to become Fulani country. Nigeria will then become Fulani country with the owners of Nigeria exterminated. Yoruba will be killed, Ijo will be killed, Igbo will be killed. That's what's been going on since 2011. We saw the train terror attack and all of the demands they are making about the promise that was made to them for providing the brigandage and the violence that was necessary or required to remove Jonathan from power to bring in their own man. Okay, they've done their own part. They are now demanding that the lands be given to them. That's what emerged from what we saw in the terror attack. And so we've come to inform our people that the way the UN works, and we're privileged to have been we've been there, we've managed to get a few things done there, including the instrument under which this right to self-determination became something you could activate by yourselves. In 2007, the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. Anywhere you see Professor Wole Soyinka, that instrument will be counted by history as one of his greatest interventions in the affairs of mankind in his era, because he was central to how what emerged as that instrument got processed. At the time it got processed into what it became. And so we are not strangers to the UN. The way the UN works is the member countries that decide, especially through the key organ called the Security Council. And the executive secretariat is headed by the secretary, where Amina is now one of his assistants. We're just trying to let you know that these are very low-level, civil servants, so to say, people who, we like the Nigerian example, we know the Governors Forum. They have a secretariat, and they have a DG that runs that secretariat. That is how it is in this, the DG of the secretariat of the Governors Forum, the DG of the Governors Forum is not, he doesn't then become one of the governors to call the shots on what the governors are going to do. He's just to make sure that the place of meeting is ready, and if there are things they have to decide and they have to disseminate. That's where it ends. It does, the DG of the Governors Forum, Secretariat of the Governors Forum, does not become one of the governors to now decide what governors will do. That is the prank Amina Mohammed and her principal, Antonio Guterres, tried to play in coming to say, oh, UN is now in approval of Nigeria, infusing Boko Haram back into its military and into the society. They're just trying to deceive those who do not know. But we're not going to pay any attention to that, because the Security Council, those who will decide on what will happen with Nigeria, they already have a foundation. They already have a first-hand knowledge of what is going on in Nigeria. Those who wish to ascertain, that rapporteur mission was led by Agnes Callamard. All of us can Google Agnes Callamard. And the report of that visitation that came to find out why blood was flowing all over the place returned a verdict that Nigeria's constitutional arrangement is like pressure cooker for injustice, and that Nigeria under that constitution has become a danger to the global community, a danger to the security of the global community, because if nothing happens to address the situation soon enough, that is the constitutional arrangement of Nigeria, which is the subject of our campaign, which is the subject of our interactions with Washington for 7 months in 2019, to say that all of what is happening is enabled by the bad constitutional arrangement we have. That is why one small segment of Nigeria can bring in people from outside, because they now pretend to be federal government to the exclusion of the owners of Nigeria, that they are an invader community, and that they are in joint venture with the ISIS and the other terror networks, including Al-Qaeda, to reinforce them in the West African sub-region. Look at the map of that West Africa again. And so the UN already pronounced the constitution of Nigeria as the source of the misery, the killings that are happening. And it was at the instance of the controllers of the UN system. We left Washington in July of 2019. That visitation happened in August of 2019. Use your tongue to count your teeth as to how it came to be. And so, let nobody pay attention to the gimmick of Amina Mohammed and her principal from the executive secretariat of the UN. Their authority and their mandate don't go anywhere near the organs of the UN that are dealing with the matter of Nigeria. We felt we needed to let you know, because a whole number of people have been asking, UN has now abandoned. No. The UN already took a decision on what they are going to do. The rest is for us to do. Everybody is waiting for us, including the UN, to demonstrate that we have rejected that constitution that is the pressure cooker. What is going on in the Niger Delta is resistance to Nigeria's seizure of their economic assets. That's the agitation, with all the blood that is flowing around it. The ones who are doing Biafra in the East, again, rejecting Nigeria's unitary arrangement that has turned them into slaves in their own lands. The same thing with Yoruba land, the same thing with the Middle Belt. So all the blood flowing is coming from that one source. And the UN has identified it and actually said that if that constitutional arrangement is not revoked, that Nigeria remains a great danger to global security, because the international terror networks, the global terror networks are already converging in Nigeria. That's the UN's concern. that if Nigeria were to snap, 200 million people will be looking for refuge. Look at little Ukraine and what has happened already. Look at what happened from Syria. So the UN is completely, aware of what we're dealing with. They've sent their own independent, investigation, and they've come to the verdict that it is the constitution of Nigeria that has to be removed, that has to be replaced, that has to be reworked. Otherwise, many more things will go wrong, including Nigeria collapsing unceremoniously and the global terror networks now having an unlimited number of people to recruit from in the calamity that will ensue. And so, let us be focused. What we needed to get from the international arena, we already secured it. Amina Mohammed was already at the UN. She went in 2017. If she was that influential, where was she when the Agnes Callamard mission was, dispatched? Where was she when the report of that mission, came back and got published to the global community? So both herself and her principal are just secretariat staff, executive secretariat at the UN. But the controllers of the UN are in the upper chambers called the Security Council. We go there, we do the things we have to do there. They are not in any position to stand in the way of what the Security Council or the Trusteeship Council that will deal with the matter of what will happen to Nigeria would. I think we'll leave it there.